Hello and welcome to Losers Semis. That's right. Only 4 players remaining. I need to think for a moment there. Only 4 players remaining in the tournament. So we're nearly done. But this is where it gets really intense. We've got 2 very talented players. Fugent versus Fenderman. Fugent playing with Bebu and Fenderman playing Quill. We'll see how it goes. Now, I believe Fugent is actually playing a list that is a bit different from the other Bebus. I'm not 100% about this, like we'll see, I guess. But I think Fugent actually plays stuff like Whittler, which is almost certainly going to perform much, much better in this matchup than it would be against like aggro decks. I think is Fugent's list what he describes as tank Bebu. It's not even really supposed to be like an anti-aggro list. It's just like kind of like tanking and, you know, being ready to take these fights. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. We'll see what ends up happening here, right? We already had a look at how Quill worked last time. And we'll see what she can pull off in this particular matchup. I do have to say, I think this is a much worse matchup than against Minerva. Right? That Minerva deck was pretty much entirely control and just trying to do nothing for as long as possible. And yeah, you can do that, but you also end up losing. Which isn't ideal. Like, that's what you're trying to avoid if possible. So, we'll see how this goes. Bebu is definitely a little less extreme in that regard, where Bebu is usually more inclined to actually be active. Oh, allow me to set up the predictions really quick. Who wins? That's going to be Bebu or Quill. You guys have 1 minute. Go ahead, get these predictions going. Show me what it's about. Right, so we can already see. We can have a quick look at that. Maybe I can like... I don't really ever know where to put this. I'll just put it up here for the moment. Wow, you guys do not believe in Bebu. That's kind of rough. Yeah, we've got some more predictions coming in though. Very good. It's nice to see Bloom Vagrants. This is actually like building up a pretty good amount of tempo here. Bebu going into this next turn will have access to 7 mana, which is quite a lot. But of course, at this stage, she has lost so much momentum on the board that, you know, I don't know if that's necessarily going to be the best. Oh, that's brutal. That is brutal. Bag of Crowns into the It That Defiles. Chat, quick! Bet on Bebu! Alright. They didn't quite get to see that. I don't think you guys got to see that in time. Well done. That's a big spooky boy though. I think having the It That Defiles on board already, it's rough. And honestly, this is a card that actually matters in this matchup, right? You might think, well, I mean, is that really even a big deal? Isn't this Quill deck supposed to be kind of like slow and centered around It That Waits? Well, kind of, but it's not really actually an It That Waits deck, right? It's actually a Balanu Elder deck. And Balanu Elder dies to this. So it's not necessarily ideal in that regard. Because if all of your pages get marked by It That Defiles, well, where are you going to put your Balanus? Admittedly, you do have Chamber of Realms, so you can just override the It That Defiles mark and then place the Chamber of Realms and place the Balanu Elder on top of that, which is what you want to do anyway. But you know, that kind of still limits you a bit more. Is it possible? Yes. Is it harder? Also, yes. And that's the tricky part. Alright then. Nonetheless, I am looking forward to seeing what else Bebu is doing here. She's already ramping up into another thing, as you can tell. Right? Just passing a turn with 5 open mana, doing absolutely nothing. There's this certain rhythm to playing Bebu. right? Where you kind of do nothing for a turn, and then you have a big turn, and you do nothing again, and you have a big turn again. It's always important that you try and use that to build up your own momentum, but that can just be a bit difficult if your deck isn't really designed to do that, right? If your deck is more meant to be a bit slower, like this right here. All right, that's going to be 8 mana. That's another It That Defiles. Actually, not very good here. So this is kind of an interesting quirk about the way It That Defiles interacts with enchantment companions. But when an enchantment companion is destroyed, as in it loses all of its health, it becomes an enchantment, right? So they don't really get destroyed. They are not actually destroyed. You can see this Ghost of Goodwill is still chilling here. It's still hanging out. So the It That Defiles, it can't really put the mark down here. Not against these types of companions. You need actual proper companions like Hex Painters and Mana Drones and Spire Protectors. Like, there's actually a lot of stuff here, but just enchantment companions aren't actually gonna do it. And that's the problem. Alright, so I feel like maybe you could have held back with the It That Defiles here. Admittedly, I don't quite know what Fusion has in hand. So if Fusion just has another It That Defiles and is kind of just using this to bait it a bit, I mean, sure, I guess that's fine. We will see. We will see. Okay, and we had 52 health. I wouldn't think too much into that. You can see that the Quill is just healing up, playing defensive. I don't think that's a huge deal though. Always keep in mind that she's still limited in terms of what she can do. So as soon as you actually start building a board and start being threatening in some sort of way, it's not actually that big of a deal that you are, a little behind on health. Because once you start attacking, you'll beat through that pretty quickly. Although there's a bit more worrisome that you're only 31 HP. Yeah, there we go. That's the plating. So yes, this is the tank Babu, as it's called, right? So this deck in particular isn't really meant to be kind of that Valafar combo list that we have seen so much of. But instead, like, it does still play that, but it doesn't depend on it as much, and it doesn't have as many pieces for it. Instead, what this particular deck is trying to do, it's just kind of saying, you know what? I'm just going to play some big guys, just some big chunky boys, and then my big chunky boys will be able to, fight back. Or girls. Big chunky boys and girls, right? Hey, Sailor. Hey, Guns. Thanks. Thanks for being here today. But yeah, there goes the It That Defiles. It's actually totally fine. I find it surprising that this was Mind Roilered, because that's just opening up another potential marking opportunity. Because there is a red mana available, so the It That Defiles can come down and take out the Spire Protector at the very least. Drinks Deep Magics will destroy the Ghost of Goodwill. Weird choice. Surprising choice, I have to say. Alright. I mean, I guess you can do that. I don't know. I don't really know. The question now is for Fusion, do you actually just go for the It That Defiles? Probably, right? You just kind of yeet that out there. It's looking like it. It's very much looking like it. That's not going to do it. I think that was actually a bad play. So, this is the same interaction I described a second ago, where Drinks Deep Magics is actually now an enchantment companion. So, it would have been better to leave this in one of these pages. Probably the best page to put it into is this one. Because what you're trying to do here, right, is you want to slowly force the Quill to place everything she plays into these remaining remaining slots here, so that you can use the that the files to eventually place down the markings on those as well. But the way this current situation works out, it's actually, you know, like you have this enchantment now blocking this specific page. I guess in a way it's achieving a similar thing, but it's looking unlikely that you'll be able to finish the game that quickly, that enchantment won't run out. And so, yeah. Anyway. Personally, again, I think it would have been better in a different spot, but I can see kind of an argument to be made for placing it here. That comes down on what you prefer. Comes down to what you prefer, right? Alright, there's another mind roiler. Yeah, the guys just don't stick to the board, sadly. This is definitely a thing here where hex painters and mind roilers and mana drones, like all of these things, they just cannot be played into these pages anymore. Turns out that's a problem. Oh, I was about to say, like, what if you, like, copy? You can actually do this. Okay, so here's a weird strategy. Use Cinder Symbiont. Copy Cinder Symbiont. Use the Cinder Symbiont ability to destroy the other Cinder Symbiont that's on one of these pages. That will then replace this mark with the Cinder Symbiont negative mark, which reduces attack by 1, which is significantly better for you than it is to have -3/-3. I don't know if Vanderman is gonna have this idea, because it is a bit of a strange concept to kind of duplicate your own Cinder Symbionts to then shoot them to overwrite the negative marks with a lesser negative mark. But it would be an option. It is important to keep in mind that the Bewu isn't actually being that aggressive. So you do actually have a bit of time, I think. You could try and do something like that. Okay. And, yeah, I mean, that's fine. Oh, for hire for sale, that works too. I mean, you could also just start slamming it that way. That's the other option. I think that's fine. It kind of depends on how you want to play this out from here. Like, you have to say, definitely have the option of just playing it that waits. Bag of Crowns, start copying it that waits, and just start using it that waits every single turn. It seems that that's where we're headed. So what's good about this particular play is that it forces a response, right? Like, it's something where Fusion just cannot, like, do nothing anymore. You need to actually be threatening. You need to actually remove this. And very importantly, it doesn't die to an it that defiles. I mean, it will die eventually, like after 2 turns or so, but not immediately. It doesn't immediately die to it because it's actually got enough HP to take that hit. I like the complaining though. I like the emotes. They're very good emotes, aren't they? They're very funny. So I think that the files was bounced earlier with the Mind Roiler. Right? And it hasn't come down since then. Now, there's only one in here. It didn't get voided or anything like that. Oh, your story ends. Oh, that's rough. That is unfortunate. A 2 mana removal for a 9 mana card. Yeah, I mean, that's how it goes sometimes, right? Here's the it that defiles, and it will take over one of the last 2 remaining pages. So there's only one more page that hasn't been hit by it that defiles yet. And now this is exactly what I was talking about, you know. Once these attacks actually start coming out, the fact that you have a bit more HP will help, but it won't actually save you. Yeah, you can't play a Spire Protector. I honestly think the Quill has one thing she can do. One option, which is to play the it that waits and pray it survives. Right? If one of these boys ever sticks around, I mean, like, probably start generating some ink. Or maybe inscribe it. I don't know. It depends on which one you want to get first, right? In all likelihood, this quill gets to play 2 more It That Waits. Right? Just 2 more. But she does get 2 more. And, well, the question there is that going to be enough to kill? There is actually a chance. Okay, yes, and then this with the It That the files will, you know, take it down, sure. Nice, 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 no big deal. So tournament mod packs don't sell? Yeah. ChromaCG.com/store, I believe. Or just go on the website and like somewhere on there. Alright, so there goes the barrier. I mean, the damage output is, I think, the biggest problem at this stage. You just play now It That Waits. I don't know if you really have a choice. You definitely... Huh? What are we doing here? That's Xscribe, right? No, that's View. That's View. View Inscribe Permanence. I mean, what could be inscribed? Mana Drone? I don't really think you want to use ink for a Mana Drone now. There's definitely some sort of play you can do here by using like benefactors and Mana Drones to kind of play them for free and refresh the ink multiple times to generate a bunch of additional ink to hopefully play in It That Waits as well. And there is a situation like that. There is a play like that you can do. I don't know if it's necessarily gonna save you, because you're just taking a bit too much damage here. Right. Nice big AoE hit. Yeah, we're gonna inscribe here. So, important to remember, there's always a chance that Fusion just can't remove the It That Waits. If it doesn't get removed... Oh no. Okay. Well, now you don't necessarily have to remove it. So, what just happened is that Quill actually used both abilities from the It That Waits. And since both abilities have been used, that means they will not get the duplication effect. So you can't now, you know, like now you don't get the benefit of next turn being able to slam for twice as much damage. Which in a way means that Fusion doesn't actually really have to remove it. Maybe? That's kind of, Oh my god. Look at them bad girls. I'm probably gonna see an ultimate from the Quill. Assuming we go into Act 3. No, we're not going into Act 3. I think that's actually pretty smart. There's lethal on the board easily. Right? Like lethal is 100% being presented here. Even through the barrier. So why go into Act 3? Why give the Quill access to her ultimate? The ultimate is powerful. The ultimate is a powerful, strong ability. There's no denying that. So just kind of saying, you know what? Not today. I think that's a smart way of going about it. Is this the finals? This right here is losers semifinals. So we're not in the finals yet. Not quite, not quite. But we are definitely nearing the end of everything. Alright, Hex Painter. Yeah, Hex Painter is just going to go down. This does reduce damage output significantly, so there's no lethal being presented anymore, but also this is still not a good look. This is still a problem. Can you X-scribe it? I don't know if the... Alright, there's a Cinder Symbiont. Okay, guarded stance. Probably gonna use that to deal 2 damage to something. Hex Painter. So you can take down the other one with the knife made vice, right? Which is good. That's actually pretty nice. I think that inscribed Cinder Symbiont came in quite handy there. This is not that bad a situation to be in. Oh no. No way. Don't do it. Oh, yeah, oh, what a disaster. That's it. That's actually... That's, I think, the first time we have seen the perfect it.defiles board in the entire tournament. Look at it. Isn't it kind of gorgeous? I think it's kind of pretty. Oh no. Yeah, So no more mana drones, no more benefactors. That's all dead as soon as it enters. Quill is at this stage just kind of desperately looking for what's the last available tools, right? No ultimate just yet. Is it like at least 3 unique textures for it that fast mark? No, I think it's randomized. I think there is like a certain random factor, and I believe there's way more than 3. But I'm not entirely sure. Alright, just gonna enter sort of a healing mode. I mean, I get it, but... okay, here's the thing. You actually kind of have to do this. Right, you need to just try and defend yourself if you want to have a shot at surviving this. But this isn't really... like, here's the thing about it. This is a play to stay alive. It's not a play to win. Like, yes, you will survive for a turn longer, and then... that I don't know. Right? I don't know, and I don't know if... Featherman has an answer. Why am I yawning so much? I'm really sorry. I'm apparently very tired. Yes, the knife made wise. That should do it, right? That's 4 more mana. Oh, this guy can also get another knife made wise from the ashes. Okay, yeah, that's easily it. That's... well, actually, it's a little bit of overkill, but not that much. Alright. So, what are we looking at? I am actually a little unsure what exactly the right cards are here. I mean, open arms is good for like just keeping stuff away. The bigger problem I saw here is that Quill just got stuck with a bunch of cards that don't do anything, right? It's like more an issue with card draw. It that waits description is wrong. It says, if at the end of your turn at least one of my abilities is on cooldown, I double their damage and healing. It should be, if at the end of your turn only one of my abilities isn't on cooldown, I double their damage and healing. No, you can have both of them not be on cooldown, right? If neither of them isn't on cooldown, the effect happens as well. I mean, you usually wouldn't do that. You usually would prefer using one of them, but you don't have to. Sometimes you don't have the mana. Sometimes your opponent has used something that makes it so that there's really no benefit to it. Alright. On that note, I believe, my friend, we have to choose an outcome. So who won? Bebu won. Economy in shambles. In absolute shambles. Alright, let's do this again. You have 1 minute. Let's make it 2 minutes. Let's be generous. 2 minutes. Start a prediction. Alright then, everybody. Can the economy be saved? Who knows?
This will make for a great story. This'll be fun.
This time around, it seems that Bebu is favored by the people. If I was whole marginal game, no, we do it on a game-by-game basis. Game by game, that's how we've been doing it the whole time. I mean, like, yeah, it kind of, honestly speaking, makes a bit more sense to do it on a match by match, like on a like whole best of 3 basis. But if we do it game by game, we get to gamble more. Isn't that more fun? I think that's you know, like maybe even a little bit more entertaining. That's actually a pretty rough start. Look at this. Mana Drone into Bloom Vagrant. Another Bloom Vagrant. Oh, damn. So this is something, by the way, the 8 ink, that's a lie. It's 0 right now. Oh, well, about to be 1, I think. Yeah, there we go. So that's a big board. Lots of birds, lots of Bloom Vagrants. Honestly, this is about as strong a start as you're gonna get here. So it seems we're looking at 53% to 47%. You guys actually seem to have a lot of faith in this quill. I find that really interesting. I gotta say, I gotta admit, I expected you guys to be a bit more in favor of the Bebu. Because that last game wasn't close. That was overwhelming. Bag of Crowns, and there it comes again. How do they always do it? Every time. Oh, man. How do you always have it? Unbelievable. Oh, there's the files coming out. And, wait, why are you... Oh, no. Don't trade. No. Yeah, that's a thing. That's how that works. Okay, you just gave her another free marking. And this is where Ivan Yester yells at me that it's a mark, not a marking. Shut up. It doesn't matter. Who cares? You can call it a marking, you can call it a mark. Alright then. Echo Mage. No more mana to use the ability, but admittedly I think that's fair. It's very unlikely that there's like an immediate response to this. Alright. So, seems you can already tell that the Quill doesn't feel so great about her current situation. It's actually, this is looking better than before, I think, since there is a bunch of Charm of Realms which can be used to override this stuff. And also, very importantly, very, very critically importantly, it's actually Bella Nuelda, right? That's like the whole point. You can even Bella Nuelda and like maybe take an it at the file somehow. I don't know if that's going to be useful, but you could try to do it. But yeah, she isn't under pressure. She actually has like pretty good board control, pushing into Act 2 quickly. Also a thing that's in favor of Quill. Like always something to keep in mind is that since Bebu is able to kind of like gain a bit of additional mana, the faster you can get into Act 2, the better actually for you, since you're evening that gap, right? You no longer are, you are less mana behind, well, you know, from like a percentage point of view. Basically, if it's 10-10 turn 10 Act 2, the free additional mana from Bebu doesn't matter as much as it does on turn 3. That's what I'm saying. Alright, it's got in a bottle. Gonna just continue building up this kind of defense. Although, this is really important. Plating, not that big of a deal. No, just doesn't matter that much. Hawk is good here. Hawk is absolutely fantastic. But yeah, I think the plating is something where, you know, the Quill is actually totally fine with it. Whatever. It that waits eats through plating. It that eats plating. Yeah, it's just not something you really need to worry so much about. So in that way, I think, we're kind of okay. Eat that snacks on metal. That's exactly right. I mean, again, you don't need to worry about plating so much, I think. So that's, something you have going for yourself. And you gotta be optimistic. You gotta find things that are actually working for you here. Because having a board looking like this already, that's not good. You're not happy about that. Okay then. And okay. Quill, just chilling. Okay. You can have these kind of turns as Bebu, totally fine. But I think as Quill, you're never really too happy about them. Something that is pretty alright though, and I think it was smart to wait. You could have played something like Hark, but then it would have just gotten deleted, right? And you don't want to play an It That Waits into a Valafar incident. But now here's the problem. The incident has been played, and yeah, the Mystic Vanguards will probably start attacking soon. Although, here's what's important to remember. Fusion's deck actually doesn't play that many Mystic Vanguards. It just doesn't have that many of them. That's not really like the main purpose of the deck, really. Yeah, Blue Vagrant doesn't feel good here. I'm surprised to see that. I think it's mostly just to start inscribing. Inscribing the Belanu Elder. But yeah, the Blue Vagrant birds are just going to get destroyed immediately. You gotta either overwrite this Chamber of Elves or like copy something else. I'm honestly a bit surprised by that. I guess there weren't really a lot of other options available. I take the It That Defiles. I mean, you might as well, right? It's better than making your guy just have a span of 2 at that. It's not even a long span. It's a really short one. That just feels like you're asking for a bit of trouble there. All right, Echo Mage comes out. It's unlikely to really do anything super drastic, so don't need to worry too much about it. Just gonna go ahead and uncover a spell. Blight Baptism, very nice. Okay, 3 mana. Preserving the red mana for some potential nonsense. Ooh, interesting. Okay. So that's a War Chronicler. It's a bit of a surprise for me personally, I have to say. You can steal stuff from the ashes. That doesn't really matter so much. You can add stuff from your ashes to your hand. I guess the It That Defiles is what you're looking for. Generate a Belanu Elder and eat the It That Defiles. Probably the right play. It's probably what you have to do here, right? No incidents versus a wipe. Yeah. That's true. And it would also be a pretty powerful wipe against, I think, this particular style of deck. Because, if you end up playing an It That Waits, which costs a lot of mana, it's a slow process. And all you get out of it is having it voided. So you can't really create any more copies of it. Yeah, that's not ideal, is it? Why there? That strikes me as a little strange. I guess you don't want it to be Itat the Fast, but Itat the Fast can just yeet it over here. That doesn't really matter. I feel like you could have played this here and actually destroyed the Echo Mage. Because against an Itat the Fast, that actually didn't help at all. So an important card here, and a card that might make this take 3 days, is Hawk. All companions are disarmed. Yep. Nobody gets to attack anymore for 3 turns. And guess who can copy it? Of course, it does use a lot of ink, right? Using up 8 ink is most of it. Even if you're, trying to generate as much of it as possible, generating that much is really difficult. Aha. Rest now. Clever, clever, clever. This will prevent the Belanu Elder from even going into the ashes. So, yeah, that's an additional problem here. I think this is going to be... We're going to spend some time with Hawk. Right? We'll just be hanging out for a moment. No big deal. We're not in a rush. We're not in a hurry. Hawk keeps everything locked down. Oh, that's rough. Was it inscribed? Nice quill success. That sure seemed like a success. Oh no. 14 damage coming out from the Itat the Fast. Yeah, a lot of your stuff is being voided as well, but honestly, do you care that much? Is that big of a deal? I don't really think so. First barrier's broken. And yeah. Open arms data at the fast, but then you have a bad card, which doesn't really help. I mean, at some point you kind of have to. You probably don't have a choice. You could also Spire Protect it instead. Or you could get the Hawk that I am assuming is inscribed. Again, we can't see what is inscribed. That's not something we have access to. But yeah, open arms is probably the best tool of dealing with the Fast at this stage. Although, when I say best tool, I really don't think it's a good tool at all. So, what is usually... So, open arms, what it does, right? Choose a card from the story or Ivor Hero's Ashes. Place it on top of your deck. Most of the time, the place it on top of your deck effect is seen as an upside. Right? Because you now draw the card. You like steal a card and then you draw it. But it can also be a downside, which I think it is in this particular case. Because you would get the Itat the Fast and you draw it. And what now? What do you do now? Right? Like, it's just, you can't play it. You're sure you have removed the big scary monster, but now that the big scary monster is gone, you're giving up an entire turn. You will just draw it, and you can't do anything with it. So that's really not very good. in that way, you have to be a bit concerned. Mind Roiler is probably the better option of dealing with it, because at least Mind Roiler doesn't give up a turn of drawing cards, which is something you really cannot give up at this stage. I really think that if the Quill uses Open Arms on it that fast, then she might as well concede. I see that as a really rough play. The one that you want to avoid if at all possible. I wonder if there's another Hawk available. Does choosing Chroma always bypass warded as you're not actually targeting something? Yes, but there's only a single card that actually acts that way. So here's Open Arms. This is something that's a bit controversial, right? But the way this card works is that it specifically uses the word choose, not target. Right? So for example, for Hire for Sale, it uses target. Warded is an effect that prevents things from being targeted. Choosing isn't targeting. So you can actually play Open Arms on a card that is warded. And that's something that seems a bit strange to some people, and I understand why. Don't worry, I'm not that ignorant. I fully understand that it is strange. But this was actually a very careful and deliberate choice I made. Because I wanted Open Arms to represent something very specific. How it is so completely and perfectly welcoming that, you know, it was supposed to represent this moment from the Jackers Devoted. How they say, hey, I don't really care who you are or what's going on with you. If you come here, you need some help, we're gonna help you. And that's it, you know, like. And, you know, for example, like this guy on here, right? This is a Steward of Fate. And these tend to be kind of opposing views of the world a little bit. Hey, Charlotte, thank you very much. Appreciate the 4 months. So, that was kind of the idea with this particular card. On a more gameplay level, I wanted it to act as a sort of as a way to deal with warded, frankly speaking. Because without it, often it felt like purple, like Devotion, had no good way of actually doing anything about it. Devotion already doesn't get destruction effects. So no card in Devotion says destroy this, destroy that. Right? Like the word destroy doesn't really exist. So when designing removal for Devotion, it's kind of difficult, right? Like how do you design removal while not destroying something? And that's where Open Arms kind of comes in, you know. It gave me an opportunity to represent a certain feeling, a certain energy, but also it gives us an opportunity to offer an option to a color that really struggles in certain scenarios. Right? So Open Arms is the perfect removal because it cannot be negated. It works on everything, no matter what. It's not targeted. You choose it. But that is actually, like, I know it may sound like a bit of a scam and a bit of bullshit, but it's really not. Like, it's genuinely how the game mechanics work. Right? It's not a scam. It's 100% how the game mechanics work 100% of the time. That's clever. Taking the War Chronicler and then moving up to free cards from the ashes. And now the ashes are a little bugged out. But that voids them because of Rest Now. Feels like you're now giving us a hint on unlocking the open arms hidden lore text. Well, if the hint is looking at what the art is on the card and what the flavor implications of it are, then sure. But that same hint is true for most cards. That hint wouldn't be unique to open arms. I do also want to be very clear about it, that Open Arms is the only card in the entire game that cheats a little like that. Right? And I have zero plans to ever use this again. I wanted, so the way I personally think about game rules and game mechanics is that you build the rules and then you break them. Right? You build the rules and everything has to stick to the rules except for this one thing. This one can break that rule. And this other one can break that rule. And this other one can break this other rule. And Open Arms is just the one that breaks the targeting rule. Right? That's just the one that does that. I think that's fine. Right? There are other cards that break other rules. And to a certain extent, that's kind of... I think that's interesting. I like that. Card rules over game-based rules. Exactly, right? Like there's the base rules of the game and then cards are on a layer above it. And the cards are allowed to say, hey, we get that there's the base rules of the game, but I do something a bit different. But anyway. It appears we're gonna be hanging out for a little while because I do not know if this Bebu actually has any way to deal with Hawk. I don't know about that. Doesn't really seem like it, honestly. Yep, nope, your Rest Now scammed you there a little bit. Yeah, your Rest Now kind of scamming you. But that's just how it goes. So what are we waiting for? Battlefield Incident has already been played, right? Has it? Oh, I don't think it actually has. Wait. Was that last game? Oh, I think that was last game. Is it here? Ah, there it is. Ah, okay. Yeah. No, it was in the wrong void. Sorry. Yeah, no, it kind of makes sense because Bella New Elder, like, you know, like stole it from these ashes and put it here. So it ended up in this void. But yes, Battlefield Incident is gone. So I don't know if the Spebu has any way of actually doing anything here. Somebody should have played a bit more enchantment removal. Alright then, I hope everybody is has got a nice cup of tea. Because we might be here for a little bit more. It's always important to remember, though, that Bebu is not playing the fastest deck either. Alright? So, giving a Quill this much time to set all of this up, that's really what's the root cause here. It's not that this is possible. It's that You've just given her all the time in the world. This game would be over by now if either player was running maximum smooth brain Giari. Yeah, for sure. I mean, to be honest, how can Fusion win from here? Like, just like honestly speaking, what can Fusion do? I think you can use the Whittler to like try and mill some cards, but then that just gets open arms. But as soon as I can hit that waits is... Oh, okay, there was another open arms. Okay. Ooh, that changes things a little. That definitely changes things just a tad bit. And I'm sure somebody regrets leaving this guy in the comment stands now. Alright then. So here is another War Chronicler. Adding a copy or something to it. That's probably gonna be another open arms, right? Oh yeah. So we are looping open arms to try and fight against the Hawk loop. That is actually gonna do it, isn't it? That is actually, as far as a counterplay is concerned, the right way to go. Okay. Okay. Well then. I mean, this is taking a while, but I think it is still very much interesting because there's quite a bit of back and forth here, right? It's actually a very involved game where I feel like both players are making a lot of decisions and you just kind of have to figure out which is the right one. Okay. There's open arms again. Only one, not two. I've gotten so used to eating on my recent food schedule that I'm getting a hunger headache because I haven't eaten in 30 minutes. I'm very rigid if it comes to this stuff. I've been sticking to it very, very tightly. And now my body is complaining. Alright, nice bounce. Your hand is full. That's why that got voided, by the way. There's the War Chronicler. Hello, what's up? No, I have a food. I just don't want to eat right now because I'm in the middle of this game. Okay. Yeah. I'll eat after this is over. In like 3 years. Yeah. I'll die of starvation. It'll just be a skeleton on the chair. That's right. Well, then finally Chad can have their chair stream. After I have died. Because I didn't eat. Until this game was over. Corpse stream? Exactly. I'm just gonna be a dead boy. Come on, Fugent! Do a thing! Can't believe that people say that the timer's too short. I can't believe that people constantly complain about the timer being too short. Alright, here's the open arm. What are you open armsing? Okay, Ghost of Goodwill. Are you just trying to stop yourself from overdrawing? Like, that's actually a small problem that Fusion is having here. Well, Fusion isn't killing and actually has way less cards in the deck. Okay. There's an open arms. Will each tournament have a prize pool, in-game currency at least? Yeah, for sure, for sure. So, I was thinking what we could do for the tournaments is maybe every tournament we have a little tournament package of some stuff available. Just a small amount, like 10 bucks on the website. You can buy it if you want, you don't have to. And then we have the €100 prize pool and like some in-game currency. I don't know how much yet. Like maybe another 100, maybe. I put it like 500 this time, right? But yeah. Ooh, there we go. I don't know yet for sure. So I don't want to make any promises. I kind of need to figure some stuff out. And a custom crown card. Oh yes, if you win the tournament, you get a custom skin where we do a little crown on your hero that you won with. Yeah. No. That's definitely a thing. Yeah. If you win a tournament, we will give you a little custom skin with your hero. Image an office printer quill doodle. Oh yes. Oh, we could also just make it like funny ones. Oh, hello. Oh, hello. Look at who showed up. Look at who showed up. That is scary.
Hope you stay healthy and good luck with the tournament.
Hey, thank you very much.
Balmy.
Thanks, dude. Thanks, wait, how do I say Carolina Live. I don't know, that's probably not it. Sorry, I'm trying. Are you dead? No way. No way. Okay, open arms. Dude, I think that was wrong. You know what I think would have been the right play? I think the right play would have been to open arms your own Gardazahima. Because then she can't be removed. Then you will just draw her next turn anyway. I think that was actually a mistake. That would have been... Yeah, I don't know. The guard stance kind of screws with knife, doesn't it? Yeah, for sure, for sure. Okay. We're exscribing. What are we exscribing? Probably a hawk. If there is one. I don't know. I don't know what Quill has access to at this stage. She slowed this game down a lot, but honestly, if you just... Okay, Bella New Elder, and what are we getting? She just never got it that way. It's like, that's a real problem here. Okay, a War Chronicler. If you get a Hawk, you can't even play it, though. Should have open arms to Skull's Lieutenant so you could play now open arms in case of Hawk or whatever. That would have been smart too. I think the one thing we can all agree with is that I don't know what target would have been the right one for that, like for the open arms. But I do know that it wasn't that it wasn't the Hex Painter. And that's a GG. Damn, let's go. Bebu takes it. That's, I mean, like, on the one hand, I'm kind of happy that we don't have to sit through another super slow Quill game, but I'm also kind of sad that Quill's actually knocked out, because it's cool that Quill made it so far. 4th, though, that's very respectable. I think 4th for getting there with Quill is pretty sick, because I don't think anybody else really... I don't think anybody really saw Quill coming, you know, that wasn't on the radar here. Alright, very sick, very sick. Let me have a quick look at everything. Yeah, so here's our updated bracket. Swagin, Yasha, and Fugent are gonna be going at it next. Alright then, let's have a look at that as soon as we get to it.